I'm pregnant, okay? Like, this isn't a game. Welcome to another video. I have like 2 videos coming out at the same time. I look the same in them, so just so you know, I filmed them both back to back, but broke them up in 2 different videos. Not that you guys needed to know that, but I wanted to tell that to you anyway. So today's video is about me finding out that I am pregnant for the 4th time. I've had 2 previous miscarriages and then followed by a successful pregnancy with my daughter Reagan. She's 14 months now, and now I'm pregnant again. I am currently 27 weeks, I believe. I'm not keeping up with it as much as I was with my first pregnancy. I think it's just because it's either because I was more stressed out last pregnancy, or it's probably just because I was a new mom and I was excited about it all. But this time it's just like, I just did this and I'm ready to get it over with. So this video is about how I found out I was pregnant for the 2nd time. I just want to put it out there that there is a huge misconception that you cannot get pregnant while you're breastfeeding, and I'm going to debunk that in this video because I did breastfeed, exclusively breastfed. My daughter was very much always on my breast, so that's not true. You can get pregnant while you are breastfeeding. So I just want to talk to you guys about how I found out, how I feel, how I felt in all of those things, how my husband felt. I don't really want to speak for him because he's not here, but I will tell you like how that day went when we found out. So it was just a random day. I had my ovulation sticks came in the mail, and I was slacking big time. This is pretty much my fault, how this all happened, but I was slacking big time. So I went and I took an ovulation stick. But before I talk about that, I do want to say that I became very congested, and with my last pregnancy I was also very congested, but it was also spring, so I thought it was because of the pollen in the area. I have terrible allergies when it comes to pollen. I was like, oh, I'm just congested because of the pollen. And then I was also very tired, but I thought I was tired because my daughter was like maybe like 10 months at the time, and I was trying to keep up with her. She had just started walking. She was a very early walker, like around 10 months, 11 months she was walking. So trying to make sure she doesn't hurt herself, baby proof the house, and nursing and working and taking care of the house and taking care of my husband and take care of myself. I was like, oh, I'm just tired because, all of that. So I just ignored those symptoms. And then one day, my ovulation sticks came in the mail, and I hadn't taken them in like a month. So I was like, oh, I better take one just to see, where my body is. I should take one. Mind you, my period hadn't came back yet. So I took one. And as soon as I peed on the stick, dipped it, the ovulation line came up that it was strong. The first line, if you know anything about ovulation tests, the first line being stronger, darker than the second line indicates that you are ovulating. So I dipped it and I seen it was strong, and I was like, okay. This means that I could either be pregnant or I'm ovulating today, but what are the chances that the first day I take my ovulation sticks in like a month, I'm pregnant? That can't be right. So I go and take like 4 more and they all came out stronger than the second line. So I was like, okay. I went out to my husband, and men, they don't get it, they don't care. I was like, my ovulation test is positive, and he was like, okay, so you're ovulating. I'm like, no, I don't think so. Like, I need you to run and get a pregnancy test so that I can double check. And he was like, oh, Ariel, like, you're not pregnant. Because I'm always like, oh, I feel like I could be pregnant, because you're breastfeeding, you don't have your period, you don't know. So I'm always like, oh, I feel like I might be pregnant. He's like, no, you're not pregnant. So I was like, just please, I took this test. I could possibly be, just please go get a test. So he runs out and gets me like 3 tests. I dipped the test. And probably as soon as it started like loading, the first line popped up. Oh my gosh. The first line popped up in seconds. I was like, oh, I'm pregnant. Okay, like this isn't a game. I'm very pregnant. So I just like threw the test at my husband. You know, everything's their fault automatically. So I'm mad at him. I threw the test at him, and he's like, no way you're pregnant. He's excited, and I'm pissed. Like, I'm pissed, and he's excited, and I'm like, yeah, that's what it says. And he was like, no, this can't be real. Take another one. So I took another one and threw that one at him too, because now this is your problem. Now I'm mad at you. So I just started crying. Like, I picked up my baby and I started crying because I'm like, I cannot believe I have to do this again. I haven't even gotten my body back from my first pregnancy. I'm still breastfeeding. I feel like I'm technically still pregnant because I'm still giving my body to my now 10-month-old. So I'm just thinking, like, how long have I been pregnant? You know, I didn't have a period, so I don't know how long I've been pregnant. So I called my doctor and set up an appointment, and they automatically say, like, go get your blood drawn and we'll see where your HCG levels are. So I wasn't like in a rush at all. I wasn't in a rush because I was still in disbelief and trying to swallow the pill. I'm still crying all the time. I just could not believe that I was about to go through this again. You don't know how hard it is to take care of a baby until you have your own baby. I worked with kids since I was 16, and I've always thought, like, I'm a pro at this. You know, like, I can handle having my own kid, but the difference is with those kids, you give them back to their parents, and it's just a different like bond vibe when you have your own child versus a child that you work with, even like your nieces, nephews, cousins. It's just a different bond and vibe, and me and my daughter are so connected and attached. So I just like I can't imagine doing this with a second child. I knew I wanted to have another baby, but not this soon. I wanted my daughter to at least be 2 when we started trying again. So it didn't work out like that. So for a few days go on, and I do, I'm sorry if I gaze off. I'm just trying to think back to how this all happened. Okay, she's still sleeping. But a few days go by, and my husband's like, Ariel, you need to go get your blood drawn. You need to go. He's excited. Okay, let me remind you, he is excited. So he's like, go get your blood drawn. You need to go, da-da-da-da-da. I go take my blood test. The results came back the same day, and it was high. I can't remember the number, but it was high. And my husband Googled it because he's like, oh, this means that you're around between 7 and 9 weeks pregnant. So I'm like, gosh, you know, like with Reagan, I found out when I was 3 weeks, 3 weeks, 5 days, something like that. I found out I was pregnant with Reagan because we planned her, and I was taking pregnancy tests before my missed period. So this time I was between 7 and 9 weeks, and I'm like, oh my God, like, this is crazy. It's just too much hitting me at one time. So my doctor tells me come in. We do an ultrasound, and I was 9 weeks pregnant. And he was like, are you excited? And I'm like, no, I just seen you a few months ago. I'm not excited. I'm not excited. But yeah, I had a 9-week baby coming, and he's like, you need to go get all your blood work done. We're going to run all your tests, make sure you're good. Probably like 2 weeks later, I found out the gender. I found out I'm having a baby boy. So I'll have a girl and a boy, and we are really done. If not for good, at least for a very long time now. I'll be 29 this year, so I'm okay with being done. I think I'm gonna say that now, but I don't want to, I don't want to speak too soon. But we're okay with being done. So I'll have my little girl, and I'll have my little boy, very close in age. So I'm having a boy. Find out I'm having a boy. My husband is still ecstatic. He's so happy, and I'm trying my best to be happy, and I just can't find it in me. I mean, I just went through a very rough pregnancy through a pandemic, and I felt like I hadn't got as much time with my daughter yet. That's how I felt then. Now she's 14 months, and I'm excited for her to have a sibling because she'll have someone to play with. She depends on us a lot for attention, so I'm like, oh, maybe this will gravitate her attention towards her brother, and that'll be good for her to have that interaction. But yeah, so I found out I was pregnant, and I was breastfeeding, and it was hard. It was hard to accept. It was also hard to, the first trimester, I started eventually, it's like as soon as I found out I was pregnant, I started throwing up. I started throwing up like 4 times a day, couldn't hold anything down, wanted to sleep all day. You can't sleep all day when you have a toddler. I have to take care of her. So it was extremely hard, but I'm 27 or 26 weeks now, starting to come to the end. It went extremely fast this time because I have a baby keeping me busy. But that's the story about how I found out I was pregnant. I hope I didn't leave anything out. That's how I feel. That's how my husband felt. My family is excited. So you guys will be coming along this journey with me of raising 2 kids. And yeah, that's all I have to say about that. My belly is huge, but I'm a small girl, so that was expected. My belly was huge with my daughter, and she came out 6 pounds. So I'm curious to see how this little guy with his weight and length will be. So yeah. Thank you for watching. You can definitely get pregnant while you're breastfeeding. Don't believe your midwife. Don't believe your OBGYN. You can get pregnant. So be safe out there. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.